G'day guys, welcome to the channel. Today I'm presenting you the on-the-wrist review of the Cartier Santos Dual Time. Now, I've had quite a bit of intimate time with this watch here, and in all honesty, and I'm going to be upfront with you, this is probably one of the most beautiful and enjoyable wearing experiences that I've had in the watch game over the last 7 and 8 years. The score of this watch, if I was to give it a score, is pretty close to perfect, right? We're talking 9 out of 10 perfect. And there's many things to just love about this watch. Essentially, if you've been following the channel, I am a GMT fanatic. In terms of complications, divers are cool, but I don't have much use for it. Chronographs as well, they're cool. Again, don't have much use for it. The GMT complication, however, or dual time complication as a very minimum, is the favorite complication for me because I work with multiple time zones. I work with approximately 5 to 6 different time zones. And overall, I just feel as if that this watch delivers in all aspects of a daily wearer. It actually is competing right now with my GMT Master 2, which I'm not going to get rid of the GMT Master 2 because that's my obtainable grail within the Rolex realm. Though this has been a very pleasurable experience. So just to kick off some statistics, according to Fratello watches, we have a 37.5mm diameter, a 47.5mm lug to lug, and a 10.1mm thickness. So as you can see down the cuff here, the watch fits really flat on my wrist, great fit. And even though there's no micro adjustments, I find that this watch is very comfortable throughout the day, even when my wrist expands. I didn't have any issues with this like I did with the medium Santos, where it was either too loose or too tight, couldn't get the right fit. Santos Dual Time, brilliant. Now, this is a controversial watch because the movement inside is indeed an off-the-shelf movement. We're talking a Sellita SW330 automatic movement, about 28,800 vibrations per hour and a 42-hour power reserve. So because it's an off-the-shelf movement, a lot of people have discounted this watch as a not interested in it because of the movement. Now, I've been told by Cartier, after doing some research on it and inquiring about this piece, that Cartier has indeed regulated it. They've done their own testing and they've modified it to include that dual time component with the day and night indicator. So with my own testing, I found that the robustness of the watch over the last 2 weeks has been pretty good, man. Like if the watch is fully wound and has sufficient power reserve, you're going to expect -3 to +3 seconds per day, which is very close to Rolex superlative chronometer certified standards. So Rolex is -2 +2. This is around -3 +3. So it is good for what it is. And the silver lining here is that because it's an off-the-shelf movement, what you'll find is when servicing time comes in, it's going to be cheaper to operate on. Although it is slightly modified, it's not going to be hard to get this service even through Cartier or a watchmaker. So that's a positive for everyone there. Now, moving on from there, I want to discuss some quirks that this watch has. So like with all Cartier Santos models, it comes with a leather strap, and the leather strap is probably the best leather strap I've ever handled from a Cartier product. So before in the past, I've had experience with about 5 to 6 straps. The strap that comes with this watch here is a gray suede material, so it does match the sunburst effect on the dial, and the feel of it is just premium. However, it isn't perfect. If I was to knock it a few points down, the strap itself is bordering to be too big for me because I have to wear it on its tightest setting to ensure that there's actually no flare with the strap. I do have to break it in a bit more. However, the strap is a great option. You basically get 2 in 1 for your money. Now, keep that in mind. My wrist is about 6.5 inches. And if your wrist is smaller than mine, you're going to have issues fitting that strap. I guarantee you. So if you're 6.5 inches and up, you're on the final setting. It's still comfortable, still looks good, just a heads up. So another quirk with this watch is its easy link adjustment, or they call it, I don't even know what they call it, to be honest with you, but the smart link stuff, right? Like you can switch out the strap relatively easily, like with all Santos models. However, I noticed that there is a quirk here where when you press the button to remove the link, the pin doesn't fully engage if the button isn't flush. So if you take out a link and you find that you're trying to push the pin in, you have to make sure that the button is flush on the back of the link. Otherwise, it's not going to fully pop in. And to alleviate that, just use the tool. Now, Cartier told me, or the authorized dealer told me, that it's because the watch is brand new. Don't know about that. However, since I've sized it up, no issues. We can move on from that. Another neat quirk is the hour markers on the minute track, so the square plots that indicate 12, 1, 2, and 3. They actually reflect under certain lighting and angles when you're viewing the dial. So what I found that when viewing it from an angle in certain lighting conditions, the hour markers pop as if that it was 3M reflective on it. And I found that it was a pretty cool quirk. Another quirk to note is the lume is not really intense blue like your Rolex is. It's kind of more of a soft powder baby blue, and it's really pretty to look at. It actually gives very good visibility in dark lighting conditions once the lume is activated. Now, I also want to touch on a quirk about the dual time function. This is the reason why you buy this. So the day and night indicator slowly turns from black to white and white to black depending on the hours. And although you can't track the second time zone based on the minutes, so if your time zone that you're tracking is half an hour behind, too bad. The day and night indicator is extremely accurate, especially for here in Sydney. So what I find, and I'll show you a clip while I'm talking, is that around 6 to 6:40, it starts to change quite slowly in the morning from night to day. And it's very great because when I work with, let's say, a different time zone in WA where they're 3 hours behind, my colleague there usually wakes up relatively early. So when I look at the watch and it's turned white, I can basically give them a call and say, rise and grind, time to make money. So that's a great feature altogether. Now, this also does come with a date wheel. In order to activate the quick set date, you pull the crown to the first position, you scroll up to change the GMT or the dual time and change the day and night. But you scroll down, you twist downwards to change the date, and it works relatively well. Now, wearing this watch for the last 2 weeks, it's been robust, it's been accurate, it's been extremely useful, and it's just a very pleasant wearing experience. The large silhouette, which this follows, gives more of a masculine yet elegant vibe, whereas the medium gives you that old money, subtle vibe. So it really just depends on what you're trying to go for. However, I do believe that the large silhouette will fit smaller wrists out there. It's not insanely large, it's just all a matter of perspective. And when you're taking photos head on, it's gonna look large, but when you're seeing it in real life or against a mirror, seeing your reflection, it's gonna look very proportionate. A final quirk I want to note as well is the AR reflective coating. It's very, very mid. I don't even know if it has AR reflective coating. However, to me, the dial is so beautiful and it's so dynamic in different lighting conditions that when the light does shine off the crystal and the bezel, it's as if that it's dancing, and it's super, super beautiful to look at. I can forgive the mid visibility when it comes to harsh lighting conditions because of how beautiful the dial is and how it reflects light. Basically, the light's dancing off the dial, and yeah, it's just amazing. Sunburst gray rhodium finish with the Roman numeral hour markers there, and it's just a beautiful package. Now, as I mentioned, this watch is close to perfect. It's about a 9 out of 10. And when doing some research out there in the market, there is very limited options out there for the money. And I start to understand why Cartier has priced it at its current pricing. So if you wanted to get a large Santos, it's about 12.5 grand retails, give or take. And this retails for about 14,900. Now, to me, because of the movement, because I am a watch nerd, because I understand different value propositions, I don't look at it as price. I look at it as value. And from Cartier's perspective, there isn't a competitor out there within this category. You don't have a integrated dual time watch within this price point. If you wanted to get something like that, you would have to spend more coin. And Look, I haven't been able to find any other dual time integrated watches with interchangeable straps. The only one I found is the Vacheron Constant, which retails for $55,000 plus. So from Cartier's perspective, they feel as if that there is value there. However, from a watch enthusiast perspective, we believe, and I personally believe, that in order to make this watch perfect, they needed to have priced it more closely to the large. I feel like if they were to price it at that 13K range, retail, people will be more inclined to look at this as an option because the movement itself is an off-the-shelf movement. Now, with my own research and testing, the movement is great and it is robust, and the silver lining is it is going to be easy to service. So it's not the be-all end-all. I get it. A lot of people out there are saying they're following along the lines of Hublot, but as an overall package, it is hard to discourage the fact that it is a good watch worth your consideration. So to make it a 10 out of 10, I feel like price it at that 13K range, maybe even just the same price as the normal standard large. And to be honest with you, this off-the-shelf movement has performed incredibly more better than the medium I ever had. So the medium, when I used to rock it, it was always -6 seconds or +10 seconds. Like, there was a mad deviation, and it wasn't magnetized at all. I've had it demagnetized. It just wasn't up to scratch, where this, totally fine, totally perfect. Bob's your uncle. Fantastic watch. Please do consider it. That's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Catch you on the next one.